Time for our Captain Comeback segment here on Cold Hard Football Facts on TPN. You are watching this show, this segment, as we do it every week. I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network, Kerry Byrne of Cold Hard Football Facts alongside. Our Captain Comeback segment is from Cold Hard Football Facts. It's written by a gentleman by the name of Scott Kazmar. He does a phenomenal job, and as you say every week, Kerry, try to find me somebody who understands comebacks, writes about them, has the numbers to back it up better than what he does on a weekly basis.
Nobody. He's really, I think you're going to see him kind of a rising star in the world of football analysis. He really are. And the numbers, he not only does he write this great column for us, if you go to profootballreference.com, which is kind of the basic database of football data that most reporters use, he created all the game-winning drive and comeback info for them. So this is really the guy for this information in the country.
All right, Captain Comeback this week on his column on Cold Hard Football Facts gets into the Colts-Patriots game of last week. For those of us here in New England, I do the post games on WEEI. We sat there and talked about it for 4 hours. You came on the show also. They ended up with a 7-point win. But if you were a numbers freak, it's predictable. It doesn't matter. He goes through all their games in the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady era, and Peyton Manning wasn't there. And they all end up as close games one way or another.
And, of course, the big one, the most famous one, is the 2006 AFC title game where the Patriots had, a 24-3 lead going into the half. And I think the Colts scored a late field goal to make it close before the half. And then, of course, the greatest comeback in AFC title game history. The Colts won 38-34, I believe, was the final score. But that's just the most famous one. It's been game after game, as Scott points out. The problem, though, I think, Butch, for the Patriots, it's one thing if you're getting torched by Peyton Manning. When Dan Orlovsky, who's never won an NFL game, has a career day, you're in a little bit of trouble, Butch.
Well, no disrespect, or maybe it is disrespect to Dan Orlovsky, but Captain Comeback Scott paints the picture and brings up, quote, the losingest quarterbacks of the last half century. And he says the Colts now have two quarterbacks, here's the chart, Dan Orlovsky and Curtis Painter, who hold a most embarrassing distinction. They are both 0-8 as starters in the NFL, which added together equals 0-16. Orlovsky was already part of the NFL's only 0-16 team, the 0-8 Lions. And there you go, their overall record, 0-17, 0-8 as a starter. So
it's bad. It's embarrassing. I know
it's more embarrassing for the Patriots defense.
I said. That's exactly what I said. Dan Orlovsky set career records in completions, yards, I think yards per attempt, passer rating, and tied his career record with 2 touchdown passes against a team that's supposed to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean, and we do a column for Yahoo Sports called Epic Fail. It's the biggest failure of the week, and I write that column. And the epic fail this week, the Patriots won the game, but you got to worry about that defense when a guy who's never won a game torches you that badly.
All right, that is our Captain Comeback segment. As we finish up the show, let's stay on the Colts-Patriots with a final thought, Kerry. I want to get your opinion about Peyton Manning because when you look at it, you can easily make the argument that nobody's even close to him as an MVP candidate by his absence here, unless you believe the Colts are tanking games by their actions and not starting Orlovsky before this and all this and that. I mean, they're not an 0-11 team. They weren't as good a team last year, but the Patriots lost Tom Brady and won 11 football games. The Colts lose Peyton Manning and they can't even score points.
There's a few factors that work here. One, obviously, Peyton Manning's a great quarterback and he controls the game and makes his team better. But I think this team was built poorly. They were built around one guy, not just physically, but psychologically. A team that thought one player was bigger than the rest of the team. And football doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. And I think the team just psychologically
salary cap wise too, that's the way they were built.
But how is this? I mean, this team was 10-6 last year. Let's not pretend they were a great team last year. They were a borderline playoff team.
No, but they were a contender.
They were a playoff contender. They didn't win a playoff game. They were a 10-6 team. Went 10-7. But when that defense just tanks and when they're the worst defense in every single indicator, up and down the line, all our quality stats, that's more than just a quarterback. There's something else at work here. Again, not to take away anything from Peyton Manning, but I think the team psychologically tanked it and may now even be physically tanking it. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's interesting because it leads you to the Patriots debate that Bill Belichick's system works. But I get the feeling if Brady went down, please no, but went down now at the start of a season, that his team would still be at least 500 even if Brian Hoyer was the quarterback.
You would think. But I don't know if that defense is yet. Who knows? So.